CISO Choice Awards Vendor Recognition with Richard Stiennon.
Hi, I'm Richard Stiennon, and I'm talking with Franklin Donahoe, who is the CEO of Lynx Technology Partners. Welcome, Franklin.
Thank you, Richard.
And I want to offer my congratulations on winning the CISO Choice Awards in the category of GRC for your IRM platform. That's really good.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of hard work.
Yeah. So Franklin, why don't you introduce us to Lynx Technology Partners? What was the purpose behind the creation of the company? And then obviously it's going through some fast transitions because they brought you on as CEO.
Yeah. So Lynx Technology Partners was founded in 2009 by Eric Permenter. And we, during that time, we've actually changed, and we've changed with security, and what's gone on from being, data-centric security to information security and cyber security, and what I now call, business-centric security. And so as we've morphed over those years and we've changed with security and moved at that pace, everyone's trying to, what we've identified is, something that's really important, and that's being able to link all sort of the layers of security, which the Security Operations Center, what I call the Risk Operations Center, and then, sort of the governance pieces of the organizations or functions within the organization, including the board. Mm-hmm. We have something that we call Lynx 360 security, which enables this sort of this proactive security, meaning that in the parts of that are integration, visibility, and communication. Integration of processes and technologies, being able to break down some of that competition between vendors, and being able to break down those barriers where we're taking that security stack, that first layer of defense, and then integrating that with LRM and any of the the assessments or other work that we do, professional services, is really around making sure that people understand the security stack. Do they have coverage? Is it integrated with the risk management lifecycle pieces of the organization? Risk intelligence and risk analysis, and making it make sense to the business. The integration, the visibility, and communication, visibility of assets, and communication of information. So all of that enables an organization to communicate effectively to the business, to define its risk context, to define the threat landscape and attack surface, and then defend accordingly.
Tell me more about how the risk management platform works. Does it, is it something that sits on top of all of your existing security controls? Does it gather data from that? You mentioned asset, categorization and discovery, which is a critical component of risk management. How do you get that information?
So we get the information through the integration of different categories or domains of security, the security stack. So it might be a SIM, it might be asset manager, asset management solution, but all of those have to make sense. So we integrate that. By that, I mean, we integrate it with LRM and with, the business context. So if you kind of think of it as the top-down, bottoms-up approach, the bottoms-up approach is, we know what the assets are. We have a rich CMDB. It insinuates or implies also that there's some maturity of the organization to, not a lot of organizations have what is a true CMDB. As a former CISO, I'll tell you, it's hard to do. You can piece those things together, or you can have a single solution that you attempt to do that. I've heard, as CISOs, we sit around the table and we talk about it. A lot of folks will say, I've got this CMDB and I've implemented it, but when you really truly get down into it, it's not a complete CMDB. So we do rely on a lot of asset information, really understanding the assets and their security posture at some point, getting that information into LRM. And then the top-down approach is really understanding the business. What is the business? Because security is about the business. A lot of it is really about security decisions. So we build that security context. And by that, I mean, what does the business do? What is it? What are the assets? What are the business processes? What are the things that we really need to protect? You know, the integrity of the information, the integrity and availability of assets that enable the business, the most important parts of the business. We identify that, characterize that, and put that in the platform. And I really do believe in this new business-centric or new or next generation CISOs organization or security organization, where business leaders are enabled to make those decisions. That's the proactive part. That's where we're reducing the amount of time and churning, really honestly, that it takes to make some risk decisions. And we're building a business leader's P&L, so to speak. It is important, I think, in the future, where business leaders, or actually now, where business leaders need to become more knowledgeable about security so that they can make decisions at their levels, just like they do, you know, for balancing their, you know, the budgets of their individual organizations or functions.
It sounds like not only have you created a platform plus the professional services around it, but you're introducing a framework, if that's the way to say it, into organizations that may not have it already.
That's correct. That's correct. And some of that framework, I won't pretend, you know, we've been reusing frameworks and reframing frameworks for a long time in security. But this framework, you know, some of the things are already there. You know, there's BISOs, the concept of BISOs or regional CISOs or whatever, deputy CISOs in different areas of the business or geography. We've had these concepts already. So, but we need to enable them. And we need to enable CISOs to have those conversations with CEOs and the board that we sometimes struggle to have. And, you know, I get in conversations with CISOs, you know, past and present, and sometimes like, you know, the CISO should be reporting to the CEO, right? And then I ask the question, well, what do you talk about? And what we need to be able to do is to have conversations that easily translate into business language. That's what we do, right? That's what we do. We have third-party risk management as a service, as well as GRC as a service, and it's, you know, encased in sort of what I call a risk operations center, which I think is the emerging sort of need and at least thought process that we need to have, that enables BISOs to talk to business leaders and put it in their language that makes sense to them. And then, but it's also that centralized intelligence part of the organization where we're looking at risk, we're looking at threats, we understand the external actors and the internal impact so that we can speak intelligently to business leaders and then remediate and address risk at the operations level as well.
So the platform itself is SaaS-based or on-prem or a mix?
SaaS-based, yeah.
So easy to fire up and get going.
That's correct. And then, you know, it's configurable to the point where, you know, whatever context that you have, and we're actually, from a roadmap perspective, we want to make sure that we're addressing the specific use cases and needs of different industries. It's becoming much more important. I mean, you think about, you know, ICS, IoT, OT, those, you know, those operating environments and understanding, you know, that operating environment versus IT, that emerging need, if it's not even imminent, is something that we're really getting focused on, and then understanding what the tool sets are in order to, you know, in the security stack in those areas. Now, there aren't that many, so that's a bit challenging, but we're still working in that direction. But third-party risk management, other areas are very much in our wheelhouse at this point, And from a roadmap perspective, we really want to make sure that ICS, OT are areas that we're concentrating on in the future.
Great. You answered my next question about the future. So I want to thank you so much, Franklin, and congratulations again for winning the CISO's Choice Award. And I look forward to watching Lynx Technology Partners grow.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more from CISO's Connect.